Okay guys, I'm going to show you a chart that shows the exact date and the exact price Bitcoin is going to bottom. At the end of this video, I'll give you support and resistance levels to pay attention to, but let's get onto this chart. So this is my G1 chart. It's the peak of the bull run chart. By the way, all these charts you can access, all these live charts you can access on my website, it's optimarkcrypto.com. Link will be pinned in the first comment in the description. So this is a chart that helped me nail the top at 67,000. And more recently, I told you to short 44,000. So I'm going to show you the published version of this chart. Before I do, this same chart allowed me to predict the price way out in advance. This is published on September 1st. It says BTC exact price on September 23rd will be 39,200. Using this chart, the way I set it up, I was pretty confident we would hit this target. I'll put a link up this video now if you want to check it out. And you'll notice this green line up here. This is where I was able to call the top using the same G1 chart. I'll put a link up this video now if you want to check it out. So this is published version, and again, you just notice right here, I had this circled here, 39,200, and I said the top would be 53,000. And again, take note of this green line. So I'm gonna hit play on this chart. So you see right here, I was saying on the 23rd, we'd be at 39,264. We would top out around 53,000, this green line. And take note, this green line here. So I'm gonna hit play so you can see what happened. So you'll notice we got topped out at 53K. We came down, I was off by 2 days and like $200, but this was my bullish call. So when we came down, this is the point you buy. And look where we topped out, right here at this line. Again, right here at this line, 67,000. And right now, currently, and this is where I told you to short 44,000. So just showing you how accurate these charts are. And when you create them, you know the direction of price, you can actually predict where price is going to be way out in the future. So this is where I'm going to get into this chart. So this is the actual chart. If I zoom out, you see there's a lot of stuff on here. This has fib circles and all kinds of stuff on it. So what I did was I removed a bunch of elements from this chart. So it's just fib channels, and you can see this line right here. This is the same fib channel line that nailed the top, and more recently where I told you to short 44,000. But I want to show you something that's repeating. And it just makes sense if you look at this chart, and when I show you this, it will make more sense. Let me get rid of these price labels here. So this is what I want to point out. If you'll notice, every single time that we top out, we test that same line of support. So I'm going to draw a trend line here and just show you what I'm talking about. So we came up, this was in 2013. When we peaked, right, it was resistance, 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 came support. We bottomed on that same line, and then we continued to accumulate to put in our next bull run. Well, the same thing happened here. You notice right here where we peaked was the same point we bottomed. It was resistance, resistance, pushed above the support, and bottomed on it, right? The same damn, this is twice now. The same thing happened in 2020. The same point, and again, when you understand the direction of price, you actually can see patterns that other people cannot see. Same thing right here. Notice it was resistance, right? Support, support, we bottomed on that same damn line. And so you see what I'm getting at, and I'm going to show you this in just a sec, where current price action is. And again, this is that yellow line that we topped out at. That's currently our resistance. Now I'll show you what will negate this, but I do want to point out, if you'll notice, so what happens is we end up breaking past resistance, right? It becomes support. But we have to break a support level before we have that drop. So our support level on this chart back in 2014, notice the support right here. This was a lot of support and resistance. Once we broke that support, that's when we crashed down, right? Okay, so that's how that played out. This was when we peaked 2017 around 19,000. So notice what happened. As soon as we broke this support right here, this was our support. As soon as we broke that, we dropped down to support, right? And if we come over here to 2000, this was 2020. Notice we hit this resistance right here. As soon as we broke this support, let me draw this line here. And I think this is currently our support now. I'll show you the confluence for this blue line. This was our support. As soon as we broke it, what happened? We came down to test support, which was previously our resistance. So I think the exact same thing is playing out over here. You can see this is where we topped out. This was resistance. So I think this is the line we're going to bottom on. So let me show you so I'm going to add some moving averages to kind of help you kind of see this better. So if you'll notice back here, This was 2013, right? So we bottomed on this line. Same thing back here in 2017. So I'm going to turn on the 200 weekly moving average. And if you'll notice, that's where we bottomed, right? In 2017 we peaked, we bottomed right on our support, right? Resistance, flipped as support, happened to be the 200 weekly moving average. Well, when we had our next drop, our next bear market, right? If you'll notice, we dropped below the 200 weekly moving average to make contact with our resistance flipped as support. And what did that happen to be? That was the 300 weekly moving average. We hit it to the tick, right? And that happened to be the same trend line that was our resistance. So, and yes, that's right, I'm bringing in the 400 weekly moving average. Let me put this on here. And notice that we've got a support level perfectly lining up with this moving average. So this is what I'm getting at. If this plays out, I don't see why it would be any different. Potentially, and look, this is our support currently. This is still our support. And you want to see the confluence here. If I zoom in, just to show you this. So this is the lowest point we went to. I think it was what, 28,900. So if I put a horizontal line here, right at the bottom, notice the confluence. So if we break, now again, we have to stay underneath this yellow line. I'll show you what negates this. But if we break this point right here, we're going to be breaking the point, our low back here, right? This was back on the 20th of June. If we break this support, it just so happens to be this support and resistance level right here, which means we break this, that would be the point that triggers the capitulation to drop us down to, that's right, resistance flips as support. I do not find it likely that we're going to drop in the next, what, few days. I mean, if we wanted to test, it's too late for the 200 weekly to hold. The 300 weekly is down here, right? So for us to hit the 300 weekly, we would have to drop within the next, what, 12 days? I find that very unlikely. So I think how this is going to play out is I think we're going to test the 300 weekly moving average, wherever it might be. And again, I'm just showing you this has happened, what, 3 times already? So once we break this point, I think how it's going to play out, once we break 28,800, that will be the point we capitulate and come down and test the 400 weekly moving average, which will be our resistance flipped as support. And that time frame from now until this point is potentially 52 days. So in less than 2 months, I think we will bottom, and that bottom target is down around potentially $12,000. I think that's actually where we're headed, and it can happen within 2 months. Now, the only thing that would negate this is the fact that this yellow line is our resistance. So at any point, if we push up above, let me zoom in a bit so you can see this. So if we push above this point, so your current resistance right now on this chart is right here at around 41,000, let's say 41,100. At any point we get above this point, then it's possible this could end up being, again, if this is our resistance, which this has been support and resistance, but it's possible if we get above this point, then we come back down, and then it's possible we could test this, and then hey, then maybe it's going to be where the 200 weekly moving average is, and this could be our bottom. But again, if we do not get above 39,000 to 40,000, I do think ultimately once we break this point, this is our target. And I don't see why it wouldn't happen, because that's how it's happened every single time. Just so you can see, it happened back here, resistance flipped as support, that was our bottom. Resistance became support, that was our bottom. And again, it happened before our COVID crash, right? It just happened to be exactly where we found resistance, right? It was right here was a 300 weekly moving average. So in order for this to become support, that's going to be where the 400 weekly moving average is. So I just wanted to point that out. So it seems like within less than 2 months, that could be the point we test. If this plays out like previous bear markets, it just makes sense to me. And remember, guys, we've got a cross coming up. This is the monthly. You can see right here, we're already in the red, right? You see the bars are turning red. We just had a cross on the monthly. We've got what, like 5 or 6 days before the next monthly candle open. You can see back here in 2017, 2018, we went from blue to red. We had a cross, and then we had a drop. So I do think it could go a lot lower and a lot sooner than a lot of people expect. Guys, make sure you follow the markets. The Dow Jones is already down 800 points. I gave you a perfect point to short the Dow at 36,800. You can see we found perfect support down here at this ring and the support at 33,074. Guys, I expect a lot more downside for the markets. Bitcoin follows the markets. If the markets are coming down, Bitcoin's going to come down as well. I'm expecting a lot of downside, and I just showed you a time frame and a target where that could happen. So let me give you, this is running kind of long, guys, so let me go ahead and give you support resistance levels. If you watched the last video I put out, I gave you support levels 35,478, 37,538. I put a link up to this video now if you want to check it out. These charts are accurate for giving you targets. This was January 23rd. Notice we found perfect support at 34,049. Pushed up as resistance at 36,559. This is a point I gave you to short. So this is actual H1 chart. Notice we found perfect support, 34,074. We pushed up, we got rejected at 36,563. This was your point to buy in, 33,300. And you can see we got rejected up here. So your current support now is 35,745. So let me give you support resistance levels on this chart. You can see we're already dropping now. If you push up, your strongest resistance on the H1 chart is 37,861. Your current support now is 35,745. Your next support level below is 34,279, and your support level below that is around 32,670. Let's see, that was on the H1 chart. I just want to show you how this H1 chart played out. Play this real quick for you, just to show you. So if you notice, right down here, this thick yellow line right here, notice we bottomed at 34,074 and we bottomed at 30,263. That is this blue line right here, 34,000 and 33,270. And this is the C1 chart. Let's give you support resistance levels real quick on this chart. So let's see here. So your current resistance right now is right here at 36,354. If we push above that, your next resistance is 38,000. If we drop, your strongest support, or your next support level below is 35,600. Your next support level below that is 34,322. And your next very strong support is going to be down here, 32,925. Those are your current support and resistance levels, guys. But remember, markets come down, Bitcoin's going to follow. So if you do want to access these charts, guys, the website is optimarkcrypto.com. I'll have the link pinned in the first comment and description. I do have tutorials teaching this method of charting. You can create these charts for yourself. I have stocks. For $49 a month, get access to Bitcoins, altcoins, precious metals, Discord, and our Twitter. Guys, that's it to the next video. Trade safe, trade smart. I'm out.